Hey everyone, I think we'll get started. I'm not seeing any, we had a lot of people signed up, but we have a fair number who usually cancel other things come up. And I like to honor people who are on time, as all of you were. So I'm Cathryn Couch, I'm the founder and CEO at Ceres, and I'm really, really excited to give you a tour and welcome you. How many of you are volunteers? Awesome. How many of you are donors? How many of you are donors and volunteers? You guys are great. So thank you all so much. I want to start by saying none of this happens without all of you, and we wouldn't be here today without all of you. And we won't be able to leverage this facility without all of you. So thank you for being part of our family at Ceres. I'm going to say a little bit about what we're going to do here and who we serve and kind of how we got here. So I want to do some introductions first. So Daryl Berlin is our project manager, owner's rep on this project. So he represents Ceres and has helped to manage the construction project. So there probably will be questions that I won't be able to answer, but Daryl will be able to answer them. And you know, I will say we are pretty much on time and definitely on budget, and that is thanks to this guy. And then Jamie in the back is just stepping off the board as one of our board members that has been the co-chair for the last 2 years. And Joe Rogoff stepped off a year or so ago from the board. Olivia is she still here? Olivia is on our development communications team and she's helping to organize today. Sharon Keating on the capital campaign committee. So they're all people that you can probably ask some questions of if the trail gets long and you're at the back of the group with somebody. So I want to start by saying we do a lot of things at Ceres. So we are a client nutrition education and meal delivery program. We're a youth development program. We are a community wellness organization. We are an organic food systems organization. We work on changing public policy. We do all of those things. But we spend about 95% of our time and money making and delivering meals. And I've been in a couple of conversations recently where I realized that everybody doesn't actually really know who we serve. So I'm going to just say a few words about that. So 82% of our clients are living, so all of our clients are dealing with a serious, complex or chronic health condition. 82% of them are living on less than $30,000 a year. 2/3 of them screen positive for food insecurity, and half of them are living alone without support. So it is a really, really, really vulnerable population. And I say that because I've been in a couple of conversations recently where someone's like, really? I didn't know that. And so I just want to center our clients here today. We are this year 3 times bigger than we were in 2019. So we delivered 80,000 meals. In 2019, we're going to deliver close to 240,000 this year. And about a year and a half into COVID, when the numbers kind of kept going up and weren't leveling off and heading back down slightly, which I thought they were going to do, we really realized that the way that we were organized and the capacity that we had in our 3 small kitchens was just not going to serve us in the future. And so we did a feasibility study, we talked to the board, started looking at buildings, and we just couldn't find anything. You know, I for sure thought finding a building and remodel it seemed easier than what we're doing here, but everything that we looked at was down in Royal Park or Petaluma. They were all in office parks that had like a building, a sidewalk, a parking lot, no place to have a volunteer appreciation party, no place to bring the community in. And Daryl had found this property, and we kept kind of coming back to this property and actually went pretty far through vetting a different building down in Petaluma and realized we were going to maybe save $1 million and really sacrifice a lot of what we really wanted. So that's how we ended up here. What I'll say about this location is within 15 minutes of 6 high schools. That's really important. We can deliver to many, many places, and we do, but the limitation for teams is how long does it take you to get here at 3:30 in the afternoon, right? The second was we wanted to make sure that all of you who are volunteering with us now, either in Santa Rosa, where we used to have a kitchen, and in Sebastopol, would want to come here. This is almost equidistant between those two kitchens. It takes about 12 minutes to get here from Sebastopol. So we thought that was important and very central for delivery and easy to get in and out of. So that's really, and the 6 high schools was like the icing on the cake and the thing that really settled it for us. So what is going to be possible here? So this facility, and we are part of a national coalition called the Food is Medicine Coalition. We are the youngest and the baby organization in that coalition. So most of the organizations who are our colleagues around the country started this work during the AIDS and HIV crisis in the late 80s. Most of them are doing 800,000 to 3 million meals a year. So we actually looked at a few of their floor plans and we had them talk to us about what they would do differently if they could go back and do it over. Then we designed this building and we went back to them and said, please look at this with us and what could we, what would you recommend we add or redo? So we feel really good about this, and part of what I learned from those colleagues over COVID is a number of them had done capital campaigns and done big remodels or done new buildings, and then within 3 to 5 years, they had outgrown them. And so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure that we were building a facility that was going to serve Ceres and the community for the long term. So this building is designed to allow us to go up to at least 800,000 meals a year. Now, we're not going to do that next year. I will say that because some of our staff thought we were. But over the next decade, over the next 10 to 12 to 15 years, having the ability to do that. We now serve, we've served all of Sonoma County since 2007, all of Marin since 2010, and we now serve Medicaid members in Solano and Napa counties. We're also looking at Lake. So we want to make sure that we really can meet the need of that kind of 5-county area. This building also has a couple of spaces that we'll go into that are going to allow us to do things we haven't been able to do for a while. So this big meeting room that we'll go into, we can seat 50, volunteer appreciation party, team leader retreats, donor dinners, parent dinners, all of those things. And over on this side, we have a room that we're calling the Client Resource Center that will allow us to do in-person and virtual nutrition and culinary education classes for clients and for the community. The building is 100% electric. That is this is the biggest kitchen that's 100% electric, probably in Northern California. And that was really important to us. It means we're going to reduce our carbon impact by 81% per meal and our energy use by 65% per meal. We'll have solar in the parking lot and the roof and a full battery microgrid, meaning we'll be able to operate for up to 10 days without power. So think about climate emergencies, all of those things. We want to make sure, one, that we protect our meal inventory and that we're still able to be here for our clients and be here for the community. How many of you know that we have the contract with the county and the city of Santa Rosa for meals at emergency shelters when they open? So we started doing fire response in the 2017 Tufts fire. We supported 8 shelters in West County during that time. And the bottom line for us is we consider ourselves a community resource. When there's a crisis, wouldn't we want to be there for the community? The other thing that we know is the people who end up in shelters are the most vulnerable people in the community that don't have anywhere else to go. Many of them are living with chronic health conditions. It's kind of us or pizza and McDonald's, and we decided pizza and McDonald's wasn't okay with us. So we want to be able to do that work as well. So I think, this room here, and I think I'm not gonna take us all in there and stand in there, but this is what we're calling the community room. The doors on 2 sides open up to what we're calling the community plaza area. So the whole area from outside the building over to the metal fence and all the way around is outdoor space that will be landscape benches. We have a couple of seating areas, an outdoor area for Team Circle that will be covered. So I think maybe if everybody wants to wander through there, it's 2 stories, and we'll be able to see 50, and then come through this door into the kitchen. So just if you want to have a look at that, you'll come through, and then we'll be in the kitchen.
So you can have
Hang in there. Yeah. So it's 3 years old now. 3 nature. 3 years of 3 nature. So we
of walk-in space, including the external freezer and the walk-ins in the bottom, to 3,000 square feet of walk-in space in this building. So, and that is a really big limitation in terms of just production capacity. So we're standing in the kitchen. This is the hot line. So this is the hood for the hot line, massive. There will be hot line equipment on both sides of this. So tilt skillets, induction ovens, what are called auto sham ovens that are programmable, big soup kettles, metal tables on both sides for staging. The area over here where we walk through, that is the prep area. So there'll be 3 double sinks and just all the prep tables. Some refrigeration equipment here, so ice machines and what we call blast chillers, where we quickly chill food down for food safety, will be there. And then the kitchen's designed, again, those of you who are volunteers in staff will appreciate this. There are 5 walk-ins, and each one has its own purpose. So back in shipping and receiving, there's a walk-in just for proteins, there's a walk-in just for produce. This walk-in here, which you're happy to look in when you go by, is bigger than the walk-in, the double walk-ins we have in Scottsville. It's just for stuff in process. So things that are ready to be prep stuff, things that are cooked but not packaged. And then the packing room is over here, and we have a walk-in just for packaged meals and a walk-in just for bagged meals. So those of you who navigate the Scottsville kitchen will understand what that all means in terms of just the ease of getting things done in this space. Dry storage here. I think maybe we'll walk back and we can see the back wall of the building is freezer space, and then the shipping and receiving.
I think one thing to note is when we went to the architect with, again, really well-developed floor plans of other organizations, but when we talked to him about the programming, we really talked about the heart of Ceres is its kitchen. So he kind of came up with this design of this being the heart of the building, and then when we go upstairs to see, you'll see all the offices are maybe around.
These are hallways, so from everywhere in the building you can see into the kitchen. And we also wanted there to be a lot of natural light in the kitchen and not like closed in and dark. So we have 9 skylights and then lots of other light coming in from the windows upstairs as well.
We have backup generator and backup power supply.
Battery microgrid, we have solar battery microgrid, so we'll be using that, and that allows us to operate for 10 days without power.
Yeah, and that 10 days, depending on a lot of different scenarios, but the other thing to think about the microgrid is actually the way we're gonna operate it is daily. So as you all know, or some people in California that have solar or just watch their electrical bills, there's noon to 9 is the peak hours.
Yeah.
So we're gonna run all the facility off the batteries
During that time.
from noon to 9.
Yeah.
And then we'll recharge those batteries in the evening from the grid at a lower cost. So we'll actually save a lot of money throughout the year by just utilizing that microgrid every day.
Yeah, and not being on the grid at peak time. Any questions before we go look at receiving, the freezer, the packing room? Yeah, John.
How many people could be in the kitchen at one time?
I don't think we've figured that out, but a lot more than we have now. I mean, we could have, 15, 16 people probably just doing prep. So the way, for those of you who are volunteers, our volunteers, many of you are on shifts with people that you've been on the same shift with for a long time, and people don't want us to break up those teams. So we might have a team or 2 teams doing prep, a team cooking, and a team packaging, and maybe each of those are, 8 people. So we think conceivably, 30 people, probably 30 volunteers probably at a time could be working once we scale up. And so the efficiency for us is going to come from a combination of the equipment here. So the equipment is going to be much more effective and efficient, and then the ability to have more people working. So those 2 things are going to be really helpful.
They have a solar out, so the output is not enough to use it during the day and not going.
Yeah, we don't have enough. We're gonna have solar through the whole parking lot and the roof, but there's also a lot of equipment on this roof, and so the solar is about 60% coverage of what we need. Yeah.
But again, the battery microgrid is sized large enough to run the whole facility
Yeah.
during the day.
it has its own room back there. Yeah.
All the kitchen equipment, ovens and whatnot, is this all gonna be new, or are you bringing stuff over from the?
It's all gonna be new because it's all electric. Yeah, it's all gonna be 100% electric. So there's not much that we can bring over from the other kitchens, yeah. But we'll be bringing all the metal tables and racks and stuff like that for sure.
How do the chefs feel about electric?
Soup, they're very excited.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. The electric has come a long way, and the reality is we do very little cooking on stovetop burners. So we're in big soup kettles and tilt skillets and things like that. And the equipment's come a really, like commercial equipment has come a really long way. And you can have an induction top with many different temperatures on it, which gives chefs a lot of control for how they're cooking. But we don't do much on stovetops. Yeah.
Will there be more paid staff in the kitchen now? Is there that many more volunteers?
No, we don't anticipate, we have some new positions that, a couple of new positions, but again, we think we can probably go up, we're talking about increasing 10 to 15% a year. We think we can do that easily with the same staff we have now. Yeah, so we're not gonna add any, we're gonna add a full-time dishwasher. We have a role that's gonna be some combination of office manager, facilities manager, community engagement coordinator, little hodgepodge role. And then probably, so one of the things, some of you may have seen that we were able to buy a 10-seater electric van through a grant from California Department of Food and Ag last year. And we got that in specifically because we know that for a lot of the kids that we want to serve out of this neighborhood, transportation's a big barrier. They don't have parents to drive them, they don't have cars. And so we may be adding an afternoon driver that will be picking up at different schools every day and bringing kids over. But other than that, we're not adding any positions. Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, are the students getting some kind of credit at school for?
No, so it's really complicated, unfortunately. So many of the schools have community service requirements that kids have to do, anywhere from 20 to 40 or 60 hours. So that is a reason that a fair number of kids come to start with. The challenge with credit, most of the schools require that you have a credentialed teacher on site. We actually credentialed a staff member some years ago, and then a year later he left, and that was an expensive process. So that's the challenge with credit, is you have to have it like a formal program. We are talking to Elsie Allen about some ways that some of their kids who are in career programs could do part of their day here and get credit for it, but they would have somebody that would be overseeing that.
So we recently visited a program in West Virginia that is training and certifying people who have been incarcerated, and this is part of their recovery program.
Yeah.
It's been highly successful.
Yep, we have colleagues that run programs like that, yeah. That's probably not a program that we would run here. There is already an organization called Sonoma Family Meals that is doing a program like that down in Petaluma. Yeah. And for us, we do some paid internships with youth, but we really see the youth program as we believe every kid should know how to make a healthy meal from scratch. And secondly, what we're trying to do is help young people find their value and belonging as contributing members of the community by giving them an authentic opportunity to make a difference in someone else's life and grow their leadership. So it's not, people used to ask me how many of our kids went to culinary school, and I'm like, we're not a culinary job training program at Ceres, although we think everybody should. And some kids do, we have kids who are now executive chefs and things like that, but we're trying to, we used to say that part of what we're trying to do is reweave the bonds of social connection that used to be the experience that we all had, and that is really kind of the deepest longing we have as humans, right, is to feel connected in meaningful ways with one another, and we're trying to create that opportunity for our clients, our volunteers, our donors, and our teams, right, that we're all healthier when we know that we're in this kind of relationship with each other, of giving and receiving. Anything else, and then we'll do a little walk. Yeah.
What's the floor gonna do?
In here, it's gonna be epoxy. That's a health department requirement. Yeah. So it'll be epoxy, and then there's what's called FRP up the walls, but it's gonna be polished concrete in a lot of the first floor. All right, so we're gonna go this way, down the hall.
I'm so happy they're fitting. That's all I care about. Do they fit? Do they fit?
So again, like thinking long term, so this will be divided up into 3 freezers, partly because we don't think we're gonna need them all to begin with, and we don't have to turn them all on. But again, right now, we maintain a meal inventory about 4,000 to 6,000 frozen meals, that allows us to onboard clients faster. When a shelter opens, when the county opens a shelter, we can get meals to them within 30 minutes. And if we do, like right now, if there was, an earthquake or a fire, and we would not be able to cook for our clients and the county at the same time, so the frozen meals allow us to, we would be able to do a couple weeks of client meals, and be able to take our production capacity for the community. So that was something we started during COVID, when we were scaling up so quickly, and I knew that we weren't going to be able to ramp up that fast, and so Park Avenue Catering and Backyard Restaurant made a combined 24,000 meals for us, so that we could scale up really quickly. So freezer space. We're going to go left down that hallway. This is going to be a roll-up door for receiving. Yeah, not a yeah. So yeah, let's go this way. Let's go this way. Follow Daryl.
I was putting together John's people.
I think they're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. All right, good luck. Nice to meet you.
I'll see you later.
Nice to meet you.
You guys better volunteer in a few years.
Yeah, really.
So this will be where we'll do meal packaging and bagging of meals. Again, we'll have a walk-in just for packaged meals and then a walk-in just for bagged meals. So what'll happen is, like right now, we have a delivery Wednesday morning, a delivery Wednesday afternoon. So meals are all packaged usually Tuesday night. We have a bagging shift on Wednesday morning. They bag everything up, and then the rolling racks will go right. There's a door from this walk-in right through the volunteer break room out where we have a big overhang. So the driveway is circular, so people will drive in, pick up meals, drive out. So that kind of idea. So this will be just packaging and bagging. We have a door here so we can limit the noise from the kitchen, because kitchens are very noisy. And then right off the dry storage where we'll have the packaging right there as well. Any other questions?
When is this gonna be completed?
So we expect to have occupancy the middle of December. And we have lots of things that have to get moved in and set up that are in storage when we close Santa Rosa, and O'Reilly Media, where we have our offices in Sebastopol, donate a lot of office furniture to us. So that'll all get moved in, and then the kitchen will move over from Sebastopol probably the second week in January. And we'll have a couple, at least one kind of low production week where they'll use frozen meals, get used to the kitchen, and then we expect to be at full operation the second week in January. And then Sebastopol building will get sold. Novato is staying for now, which is our kitchen that runs our youth program in Marin and does some of the kitchen, the cooking in Marin.
Did you buy most of the capital equipment before the tariffs went into effect?
So, thank you, great question. So, the one thing we were really concerned about were the solar panels and the batteries. And we resolved that a couple of months ago, and all of the solar panels were already in the US, and we swapped out a battery that was already in the US. So we have no tariffs on any of that. The one thing that is still up for grabs is We are qualified, so we are expecting to receive 1.2 million in what are called direct pay incentives through the Inflation Reduction Act. And that is one of the things that's on the table.
Yeah.
What I read most recently is that as long as you start construction within 6 months of when they pass the bill, that you'll still be able to access those, and then they're gonna kind of scale them down over time, since we're already under construction. And I think we already have confirmation from the EPA that we have qualified for them. So I'm cautiously optimistic that that's not a risk. Let's go this way. Well, no, let's go this way, because I think that's the last step. So let's just,
Catherine,
Daryl,
where's receiving? How do you get product in here?
what?
Receiving?
So that was that room that we were in.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that was receiving, and then there's 2 walk-ins there for produce and proteins. So we'll go right in there or right into dry storage or into the freezer. So there's access to all of those right off that room. So Daryl, let's just walk down the hallway past the office suite and then we'll go upstairs.
Yeah.
This room over here is what we're calling the Client Resource Center. And I remember when the food bank was building their new facility at the airport, and I went up for a tour, and David Goodman said to me, yeah, I built a kitchen, I don't know what we're gonna use this for, but I didn't want 5 years from now people to say, David, why didn't you put a kitchen into the food bank? Now, they're doing a ton of meals out of that kitchen now, and taking things that would be going to waste and turning them into meals, and so that stuck in my brain. And so this space, maybe a mini food pharmacy, maybe where clients come pick up meals, definitely nutrition and culinary education classes, both virtual and in person, has its own entrance. So lots of different things, but I think it's a much smaller room than that big room, much more intimate, 12 to 15 people, and we think it'll be used a lot. So you can take a look in there when we go by, and then I think we'll go upstairs and just do a little.
Just to point out for those who are tall, please watch your head right
Oh, right there, yeah. These things hang down. So yeah, let's go that way, and we'll go upstairs.
I look at the elevator. Is it?
So there's a couple things I'll say before we just kind of do a loop around here. So when we were doing the planning, people kept asking me how we were figuring out how much office space we were gonna build in this building. I was like, oh. With the whole COVID thing and people being virtual, and just not knowing like how many people would wanna come here once we're here. So we built a combination of private offices for staff that are here most of the time and need to work out of an office, some shared office space both up here and downstairs, and then what we call hot desk areas. So the thinking was, okay, so we have a monthly staff meeting and everybody comes and then they want to hang out for the day. We want to make sure we have a place for everybody to work. And so that's what we've ended up with. And I think I partly feel like you can't you can't move the kitchen space somewhere else, but if at some point we need more office space, there's a lot of office space in this office park. So we can always rent some office space. So for those of you who knew the O'Reilly media offices in Sebastopol, this upstairs is really what was there. So it's over on the other side, accounting and HR, or HR coordinator, the development and communication team, down at the end, there's some private offices and then an open workspace area, my office, our chief program officer, some admin staff. So that's really what's upstairs here. This meeting room, which is a smaller meeting room and will be used by everybody, but we're calling it the boardroom. And then the staff break room over on the other side and some upstairs storage that we can lock. So this is really the office space, and you'll see as you walk around, kind of from everywhere you can look down and see the kitchen. So we're all able to be present to what we're doing here. And I'll say in our 18-year history, we have never, we're still all not going to be in this location because we still have our Novato kitchen, the gardens, but we've never been able to have most staff in one location. So this is really going to be amazing for us. And I think when we first told the staff that we were going to build a central headquarters, I thought people were going to be, especially like the Santa Rosa staff, the Sebastopol staff, like they love their team and their people and their site. And they were all like, yes, we're going to be in one place. Like they were all super excited. And so that's going to be really big for us and for our team to have that experience of being together. So any other questions? And there's no way we can all stop at one location. So we're just going to kind of walk around and then back downstairs to the lobby. So yeah, go for it.
How much is left on the capital campaign?
None. So we've raised, so I'll say a little bit, maybe grab those folks to come back for a second. So the original budget was 22 million. Some of you may know that we were using something called new market tax credits on this building, which is something I'd never heard of a couple of years ago. But it's this weird thing from the Treasury Department where they give tax credits to the big banks for investing in community development projects. So $4.5 million of the $22 million budget came from new market tax credits. And this location was not going to be qualified after September 1 of last year. So we had to close on that deal in August. So we had 22 million that we did in that deal. At the time, we had another about 1.5 million that we had to pull out, mostly landscaping and some other stuff. We've since kind of value engineered that down to about 1.2, we think. Look at you, Daryl. And we've raised 550,000 towards that, and we've freed up 950,000 from contingencies. So now if you do that math, that's 1.4. So we're now confident that we've got everything covered on this. Some of you may have heard that we're trying to buy a lot next door. So there's a half-acre lot on that side that is empty, and our goal is to buy that lot, merge it in, and make that a youth-run organic garden on the campus. So now we're starting to build up the down payment from what is left over from what we've raised so far, and we're still raising money towards that. But it looks like we're gonna move forward with talking to Ag and Open Space. They have a matching grant program for putting land into what's called a permanent ag easement. And we feel really strongly, even if it's $1 million, when you think about the long term over the next 30 years of having a youth-run organic food production garden on this campus, that feels cheap. And I don't think it's going to be that much at this point because some things have changed. But so we're working on that now. So the building is completely done, and we think we have a couple $100,000 towards the land. Yeah. Kurt.
Can you name your major funding resources?
Yeah. So we'll see. So $4.5 million was new market tax credit.
Okay.
$3.5 million was from another state grant that's called this Community Resilience Center grant program. So it's actually, we got almost $5 million, but 3.5 is for the building and the other $1.5 million is for some other things. Then we got $1 million in state appropriations. We got 1.75 from PG&E for what's called the self-generating incentive program. That is going to a lot of the battery and microgrid, not all of it, but a lot of it. 1.2 million in the direct pay incentives that I mentioned before, 3 other $1 million gifts, 2 of them from donors that we did not have funding from before. So those are people that we networked into that are giving gifts, gave gifts that big. So $4 million gifts, S-CHIP, the Strategic Growth Council, and then so that's about, so it's about half of it that is big kind of grants like that, and about half that's individual donors. Yeah. 22 million in 18 months. Yeah, and we worked hard, and I think, you know, I don't say this, you know, I say this with humility, but I think we've proven to the community that we will be here, whether it was the fires, COVID, and we've kind of earned respect, I think, and that people can trust us to do what we say we're going to do, and that went a long way, I think, when we went to the capital campaign. And you know, there are many donors in this room that did significant amounts of money. So, yeah. Anything else about funding? Yeah, I don't think I missed anything major.
So that was your capital expenses, and then your operational expenses?
Yeah, so we've done a 7-year pro forma, where we've looked, and when we did the big state grant that was almost $5 million, we had to do a 15-year pro forma for them, and we had to have detailed maintenance budget. So we really dug in around the building maintenance around that, and then John, who came in late, is also on our board and is our board treasurer. And so John and I and a couple of other people on the finance committee are actually going to sit down and kind of really dig in to those pro forma numbers and make sure we're really confident about both running the building and like how we think about scaling. Okay, so you're just going to walk around, and I think my office is the next one on the way. There's a cubby area, Brenda. The back corner is development communication. Then there's some storage, break room, and HR and accounting on the other side.
What's this room?
This is a meeting room. Yeah, it's a meeting room. You know, it could be downstairs too, and I think the question is what other places, you know, if there's other things happening downstairs. Yes, we'll be able to do that now. Yeah, exactly. And actually, the kitchen's gonna do meals for the. I thought that would be.
Just a little closer,
So we'll just have like a. No, these are the windows. Yeah.
No, in terms of like certified in building for lighting.
Dims the lights when the.
Oh, yeah. There'll be, so we didn't go with super sophisticated controls, but there'll be options on our sort of occupancy sensors to dial them up, dial them down, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we didn't go with like a centralized system.
And he bought it for cannabis, which, you know, there's just nothing else. I'm guessing.
I know they're doing, Cap 6.
Yeah, so this is Kari's office, HR, accounting, all the what? Well, this is Daryl doing such a good job on the front end, and GMH, we did a really detailed on the front end, so that not very much bit us, as we got into it. So this is gonna be a big community meeting room, so all of these doors open, so you can have full out to this outdoor community plaza area, and then into the kitchen, so we could have 200 or 300 people here for an event, not a sit-down dinner event, but with food in the kitchen, tables here, outdoor seating, we can seat 200 people outside.
You know, during harvest here?
No, too much, but,
They'll be-
we're talking about like quarterly invitation-only donor dinners, right, where we could have like a local farmer and a local winemaker and do a dinner. We're also having, one of the things that has come up with.
We got enough stuff.
Is that those are they're very close to their families. And so like having the kids cook dinner once or twice a year, invite all the families. So that team leader retreats, volunteer appreciation parties, like, all of that kind of stuff.
I love it.
So now you've seen the whole thing. Any questions or reflections or,
Yeah, so, you said that you're working on a pro bono budget for operating
Yes.
costs, but where do you anticipate the money coming from?
Same place that always comes. So our budget right now is about 5.1 million a year, and it's about a third individual donors, it's about a third corporate foundation, and some small government grants, mostly California, food and ag, and then about a third healthcare contracts.
Do you anticipate any problem getting the grants, that the administration's?
So we have very little money that comes from the federal government in our budget. So we do have one $500,000 grant from U.S. Department of Agriculture that is funding our perinatal pilot, our pilot for pregnant moms. And when the Trump administration froze money, started freezing money in February, basically we've now pulled it all into our budget. So none of it's at risk. We have so far not gotten a couple of small foundation grants because those funders didn't get money that they were expected. So there's been a little trickle down effect, but we've never been that reliant on federal funding. So we feel pretty comfortable with where we are. Yeah, we have a very, very diverse funding base. So last year we had 1,200 individual donors. We probably have 3 dozen foundation donors and another 3 to 4 dozen corporate donors. So very, very diverse funding base. The one thing that I'm still concerned about is cuts to Medicaid. There's just certain ways that if Medicaid really gets decimated, then that could trickle down to affect our healthcare contract. And that's currently almost a third of our funding. So that would be very, very significant, and we would definitely have to do we would have to make a plan for how we would manage that if that happened. But so far, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like the plan that we're contracted with or the state is going to cut the vehicle that allows us to have that funding right now. So I'm not concerned about it. I mean, I'm concerned about it, but I'm not panicking yet. To be perfectly honest. So what else? Any reflections for those of you who have been here for the first time?
It's exciting, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
As a volunteer, putting it together in the rainy weather and getting orders out, it's just so streamlined.
Yeah.
I loved all the kids working here, and
Yeah,
it's just gonna be so great.
this building is going to be able to bring so much more of our community together in the same place. So imagine there's a class happening in there, and there's adult volunteers in here, and something's happening in the Client Resource Center, and just that aliveness
It's vibrant.
of being able to do so much more that we haven't been able to do because of space and because of limitations. And again, I think we're thinking about that, and also I think thinking about making sure that we're really building something that's going to stand the test of time in terms of what the needs of the community are.
How's the local community reacting so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think So we, one of the things that we're excited about at this location is we are in Southwest Santa Rosa. We are right next to Roseland, which is one of the 2 neighborhoods in Sonoma County with the lowest outcomes. So very low income, very high immigrant community. And, we serve 4 counties, but this is our neighborhood. And so for the last couple of years, we've been having conversations with the schools and with Santa Rosa Community Health and various nonprofits that work over here, really asking the question of how can we be an asset? And there's definitely 2 things that have stood out. And if you read either the Agenda for Action, which is a big community engagement report that came out a couple of years ago, or there was another study that Santa Rosa did for the Hearn Hub, was eventually going to be a community center at Hearn and Hearn and Dutton. The two things that showed up over and over again are high quality opportunities, after school opportunities for teenagers, and that's our business, so we know how to do that. So we are in conversation with Roseland University Prep, with Elsie Allen, with Roseland Collegiate Prep around that, and including some paid internship opportunities. That's where the van comes in, picking kids up, making sure that they can get here. And then the other one is around the epidemic of obesity and diabetes among children. And so looking at classes for families, where we would work with the whole family around cooking and eating healthy food, and that's something that we can do as well. So there's a couple of things that have come up. So some of you probably know that this, so the big grant that we got from the state is for this to serve as a community resilience center. What that means is when there are disasters or heat emergencies, we will open this room and the Client Resource Center to the community. We'll also do some programming around emergency preparedness for the neighborhood. And that is something that was also very high on the list, that did not exist in this community. We're a block from a bus stop. We have our 10-seater van that can go pick people up. So we have just convened a stakeholder advisory group for that grant, and it includes 8 or 9 of the key nonprofits in this neighborhood, and they will be working with us to kind of plan what that community resilience center, what those functions will look like, what the programming will be, how we'll activate, when we'll activate, and so forth. So what's great about that is it's helping us build relationships with some key partners. And once we're in here, the other thing that we're talking about is what kinds of events do we want to have next year? Like how we're going to do some open houses, like how are we going to get the community in here and really become a trusted place for them? Also adding some bilingual staff and some things like that. So our entire client care team is bilingual, bicultural. And we've been adding some other bilingual staff, but we want bilingual staff in the kitchen. After school driver would be bilingual and some other positions like that. So we have made a lot of progress around our ability to welcome and include the Latinx community in Sonoma County, but we've got a ways to go as well, and we're actively talking about what that will look like here. So just another huge thank you to all of you for the roles you play as volunteers and donors and part of our community. And thank you for making some time and coming over. We're really excited to share the building with everyone. We want everyone to be as excited as we are and to share the word about it. If you have friends, get them over here too. Any last comments of you? We're just mumbling about something.
No,
Yeah.
I was thanking you.
Oh, yes, my pleasure. Yeah.
Do you think there'll be a tour like this one closer to when it's more complete?
So we're doing tours every month, and we'll do a big, ribbon cutting, open house thing.
So that we all.
Yeah. But we're doing tours every month, so we'll keep doing that. Yeah. So it changes every week, right?
Yeah.
Every week.
Yeah, I didn't know the second floor was painted, so.
Yeah. So things are happening. Daryl and I are here every Tuesday morning for a construction meeting. Daryl's here a lot more than I am, but we're here every week, and it's always different.
I just wanted to say, I've done a bunch of projects, but having a partner like him,
Have a good one. Yeah.
that's coming in with all your contingencies intact and on time.
Yeah. We have a really, Daryl and I have been working on this for 3.5 years, I think, maybe. Yeah. Something like that. So Daryl's been with me from when we started looking at buildings down in Runner Park. But we also are working with GMH Construction, and they have been just incredible partners. Really, really, really good
This
people.
was an existing building.
No, this was an empty lot
Yeah.
in September of last year.
The field.
Yeah, it was a field, so, yeah. So thank you all.
Thank
And please reach out if you have other questions that.
All right.